Hey there my friends, this is Dave Wood. I live in Costa Rica and I like to walk around the house barefoot. I don't know if you've ever got a chance to live in a third world country today, or ever is what I really meant. But it's nice. I wake up every single day. This is the view that I have outside of my house, and it wasn't always like this. In fact, a year and a half ago I lived in a van. It was a green 1996 Dodge Caravan, had the paint peeling off of it, rusted tires, working for Greenpeace, and I was making about $8 an hour. My wife slept in the van with me, and she'd been married to me for about 2 years. One night, it was 2 in the morning, and I got a knock, knock, knock on my window in the van that I lived in, and it was a cop. And what the cop said to me after he woke me up was he said that he was going to write me a ticket for my last $35. Now, I don't know if you've ever had only $35 in a bank account before. Actually, this is gone. I don't know why this is there. But it's not fun. And I got that ticket, only had about $35, $40 in my bank account. The ticket was for $35. So the last $35 that I had that I needed for gas to put in my van so I could survive, so I could go try to make money and get food, was paid to the state of Hawaii for being homeless. Now, if that's not a slap in the face, I don't know what is. And so I had no money. You're on this website, theultimatewaytogetmoney.com, and today I'm actually going to show you the ultimate way that I discovered of getting money. Because here's what happened to me. I decided that something needed to change. I started a business. It was an online business. I'd never marketed on the internet before, and I had no money to market my business. And when you think of marketing, you think of money. Well, I had a problem with money. I didn't know how to make it. And so here's what happened to me. I got started in that online business, and within 45 days, I had actually had a night where I made over $12,000 in one 2-hour period of time. That week I actually made over $25,000. I made more than $25,000 a week. I dropped out of college. I got F's in 8th grade, and I didn't know how to use the internet. And I was pinching myself because I didn't know how all this money started manifesting in my life. And I started to really ask the question, how is it that money comes into our life, and how was I able to make so much so fast? And that's how I discovered the ultimate way to get money. So let me show you some neat things that I've kind of figured out along the way, and I'm going to kind of take you on a tour a little bit through this property. And I think that you are not only going to find this one of the most relaxing presentations that you've ever seen and one of the most convincing, but I think that you are going to have some personal and financial breakthroughs from what you're about to learn. So let me show you some real money. I've got right here on my desk some silver bullion coins. Now this is actually about $10,000 of silver. Each one of these coins is 1 ounce of 0.999% pure silver, minted by the U.S. Treasury, and it can actually be used as legal currency. They're minted as $1, but the silver in the coins alone is worth right now about 38. And there's actually a real good chance that we might have hyperinflation here in the States, and if that happens, of course, these coins that you see right here are actually going to go from about $38 to about 900. So let me show you some other nifty things, and then I'm going to attach this camera back again. But let me kind of wade through this here, because I didn't always understand this. And I wouldn't have known had somebody showed me this when I lived in a van about a year and a half ago. I literally would not have known that this was worth $45. I would have turned it, I would have looked on the back, I would have said that it saw $1, and I would have thought they were trying to give me $1. So if my boss owed me 20 bucks and he said, I'm going to do you a favor and give you 40 by giving me a 1 ounce silver coin, I wouldn't have known, and I would have taken the 20 instead, thinking he was trying to rip me off. Isn't that fascinating? Most people just don't understand how money works. They don't understand how it's created. They don't understand how the government creates it out of thin air. And more importantly, they don't understand how not only is it being taken away from the middle class and the poor and passed into the hands of the rich, but if they don't act, they're not only going to be in poverty, but there's a very good chance that they will not survive. Talking about the art of money making, there's this really great book that I discovered in my quest to learn the ultimate way to get money, I discovered this book called The 4-Hour Workweek. Now, I first read into this book, I was kind of mad at it, and the reason why is because I was working 40 hours a week, and I lived in a van, and I opened this book. It's by this guy named Timothy Ferriss. He actually started a nutrition company online, and he got, if you look on the back of this book, I want to show you something here. It says how Tim, I don't know if you can read this, went from making $40,000 per year and 80 hours per week of work to $40,000 per month working less than 4 hours per week. How to outsource your life to overseas virtual assistants for $5 an hour and do whatever the heck you want. So I picked this up, and first of all, I wasn't making $40,000 a year, and I was working about 80 hours a week. I was poor. But second of all, he was making $40,000 per month in 4 hours a week, and I said, you know, this guy knows something that I don't know. I started to really ask myself, why don't I have money, and why can't I get more money into my life? And the more I researched, the deeper the rabbit hole went, and the more that I realized as I moved deeper into the rabbit hole that I did not understand money growing up at all. And if I didn't change my beliefs very, very, very quickly, not only would I continue to not understand money at all in my life, but I would be poor as my destiny for the rest of my life. And so let's walk in the house now. Hold on a second. Got to turn this camera around. And I am actually going to show you different ways of getting money. I'm going to show you how money is created from thin air. I'm going to show you how, this is important, to get more money in your life, and the only place that it comes from. That's right, money only comes from one place, and that's the funky thing that most people don't in fact understand. So let's take you into my little home office here. This is a little bit messy because my maids haven't been over since this morning. Yes, I have 2 maids. I don't clean my house at all. I got to move this tripod a little bit to get it to where it will look at the chalkboard. And you know, one of the things that I discovered in that book, The 4-Hour Workweek, I used to want to control everything. I would have never hired maids several years ago. This was a little description that I made for a guy who came over here. I was teaching him how to market his photography business on the internet. This is kind of what I do for a living. I am very good at making money online and very good at teaching it to other people. In fact, I'm not only the #1 recruiter in one of the largest home businesses on the planet, but I am also the #1 producer inside the largest online attraction marketing community, and I started doing it, get this, when I was living in a 1996 Dodge Caravan on the North Shore of Oahu, Hawaii, with absolutely no money to start. So sometimes people say, Dave, I got you. I want to make money. I'm so excited about the concept of having more money and more prosperity in my life. However, because of my financial lack and because of the fact that I don't have anything to start, I don't possibly see how I could ever get more money into my life. So let me show you, in fact, how the different ways of making money manifest and how you can end the frustration forever. Let me actually show you why I chose certain directions and what that's led to today. Now, I'm not the richest person in the world, because I don't think that I want to be, because I don't want the responsibility, and I also don't want to bother trying. However, I have made over $5,000 a week minimum for the last year, almost and a half, and my life is the coolest life of anybody that I know. Now, just as a warning, this camera may run out of battery, so I might need to stop this presentation, and I think you'll be amazed that I can talk for this long with almost no breath, but I might have to stop this presentation and restart it, so if that happens, well, you'll know why. As this presentation is going through, I'm actually going to be showing you proof, pictures of checks that I've earned, different companies that have paid me lots of money into my bank account. I'm going to show you links, and I'm going to show you statistics as I'm kind of talking here. You're going to kind of see these kind of draw onto the screen, beaches that I've visited. You already saw the beautiful view in front of my house. I actually got interviewed today by Home Business Connection. I'm going to be the cover story on Home Business Connection on the next issue that's mailed out. The lady was blown away because I started to describe to her what I'm about to describe for you. Now, I don't have this book, but you're going to see an image of it, hopefully, if I remember, flash on the screen. It's called The Creature from Jekyll Island. Now, when I read this book, previous to reading it, I had no idea where money came from at all. And when I read this, it was appalled. Now, this isn't quite how to get money yet. This is just where it comes from. So let's talk about this. You know, where does money come from? You know, when I grew up, I had no idea to even ask the question where money comes from. I assumed that a dollar bill was worth 20 bucks. Well, let me try to find a dollar bill to show you how much it's actually worth if I can find it. Let me show you actually how much I think that this money is worth. I actually don't have any dollar bills probably on me. Oh, I actually do. Hold on just one second. I have a $10 bill. I want to show you how much this $10 bill is really worth. So let's step back into my office here really quick, and I want to paint out an illustration. Let me make sure this is lined up properly and looking at the whiteboard. I want to show you actually how much this $10 bill is worth. You see this on the screen here? You got a picture here. I don't even know which president. Hamilton. Okay, we've got Hamilton. $10. You know, when I was in the 80s. Okay, I was born in 1981, May 17th, 1981. $10 an hour was a lot of money. You know how much $10 an hour is?